What are 3 simple steps to derive a strategy for companies? Hi everyone, my name is Johannes. I'm a strategy consultant, and on this channel I share my thoughts, learnings and experiences about consulting, business and mindset. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel and please also leave a thumb up. This would really help the channel to grow and support what we are doing here. And today I want to give you a broad overview about the 3 main steps to derive a strategy for a company. As a caveat, I have to say that this is a very simplified view, but it should give you a very good overview, especially if you're new to this field, how we derive strategies for companies in strategy consulting. And there are mainly 3 steps that you should consider and that you have to do in every strategy development process. So let's talk about each of those steps. Step number 1 is that you start with the analysis of the company. So this means that you really take a close look at your client. You really try to understand the situation of the client. And this can have several dimensions. So first of all, you want to do the financial analysis. So this means that you check all the numbers. You typically analyze 3 parts. Of course, you take a look at the profit and loss statement. So you want to understand what are the revenue drivers, what are the cost drivers, how do they develop over time, how do they maybe compare to other companies, and this is the P&L analysis. Of course, you also want to understand the balance sheet, so you want to understand kind of what kind of asset structure they have, what kind of equity to debt ratio they have, if there are any risks involved in the capital structure that they apply. This is the balance sheet. And of course you take a look at the cash flow statement, and this means that you want to understand, okay, where does cash actually come from? Are we cash flow positive? Does it come from financing activities? Are we able to invest? Do we have too much investments? So this is the cash flow statement that you have. This is the financial analysis, but also of course you want to have an organizational analysis where you take a look at the company history. You really try to understand the company structure, the product types, the product lines that they have, the resources. So you really do the internal analysis about the company to really understand, okay, what kind of resources do we have, what kind of strategic positioning do we have, and what is the current state of the company. And this is typically step number 1. This is what we call the internal analysis. Okay, so you really try to understand the client situation, you really try to understand the financial situation, the organizational situation, and the positioning of the company. This is step number 1. Then step number 2 is that after you took a look at the inside of the company, that you zoom out and take a look at the outside of the company. And this basically means that you take a very close look at the market developments. And first of all, you typically try to understand what kind of market volume do we have. So what is the market size? Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? What kind of trends do we see here? You also, of course, want to understand then the market structure. How do you segment the market in product lines, by regions? You want to understand the main competitors. So who are the big players in the market? Of course, you also want to understand the company and the competitive dynamics. So do we see kind of new entrants in the market? Do we see kind of movements? Is there a consolidation game going on? Are the new developments in the market in terms of technology, for example, that change the way how we operate in the industry? So you really try to understand what the current industry is like. And of course, you also try to zoom out and understand the kind of macro factors. So what kind of large economic developments do we see? What kind of large environmental activities do we see? Maybe some regulation, political activities that we see that might impact our industry. And this is step number 2, that we take a look at the outside of the company, at the market developments, really try to understand trends. We try to understand where the market is going and how we see the situation in the future. And then in step 3, we bring it all together. We take a look at the internal analysis, so we understand the resources that the company has, and then we take a look at the outside world, so we understand the market dynamics that we see, and then we try to bring it together. So we try to find a very smart way how we can leverage the internal resources and the internal situation that we have in order to match the market developments in a very profitable way. And this is typically step number 3, and here we really work on the strategic positioning. So we try to understand, okay, what kind of active measures can we take in order to put the company to the next level. And this might have several levels. This could be something like, okay, we have to restructure the product portfolio. This is typically a very simple step that, or very important step that companies do in the first place. We restructure the portfolio. Maybe we have to cut some costs. Maybe we see, okay, that we are not profitable enough in order to compete. So this means that we have to reduce maybe overhead costs. Also, maybe we need new growth strategies. So we need to develop new product lines. Maybe we want to enter new markets. Maybe we want to go into new market segments. This could all be the growth lever in terms of revenue increase. And then of course we have the organizational topic. So maybe we also want to change the organizational structure of a company. Maybe our regional footprint is too broad. Maybe we want to downsize a little bit. Maybe we want to go from a very complex matrix structure to a more simplified version in order to reduce complexity. This might all be things that you could do. Every strategic analysis is very, very individual and highly depends on, the kind of situation and the kind of actual question that the management has. But whatever you do, it's always important to keep in mind that you have those 3 steps. First, you take a look at the internal company. So you try to understand the resources. After that, you take a look at the market, really try to understand what the current market situation is like and where the market moves. And then as a 3rd step, you really try to identify measures that a company can take in order to have a good positioning for the future. Of course, I'm interested what else you see as important in terms of strategic analysis. Of course, this was just an overview, so if you want to learn more about those steps, then please let me know. And with that being said, if this video brought value to you, then please subscribe to this channel, leave a thumb up. And with that being said, I wish you a very successful day. Hope to talk to you soon. Goodbye, Johannes.